I thought I had found my forever when I married Amanda. 3 years of what I believed was perfect love, a cozy home in Austin, and my brother Kyle, always around for Sunday dinners. I trusted them both completely. The two people I loved most in this world. I never imagined that trust would become the knife they would use to stab me in the back. I never thought the bond of blood and marriage vows could be shattered so easily. Before we dive into how the two people I trusted most destroyed everything, let me ask you something. Where are you watching this from? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you have ever been betrayed by family, hit that like button and subscribe, because this story will show you exactly what happens when loyalty dies and karma comes knocking. Let me start from the beginning, back when everything seemed perfect. My name is Rob, and at 32 years old, I thought I had life figured out. I worked as a software engineer at a tech startup in Austin, Texas, pulling in about $85,000 a year. Nothing spectacular, but comfortable enough. I lived in a 2-story townhouse in the suburbs that I had bought 2 years prior. The place had 3 bedrooms, a small backyard, and enough space for the family I hoped to start someday. Amanda was my world. She was 30 years old with long brown hair that caught the sunlight just right and these pale green eyes that could make me forget whatever I was worrying about. She worked as a marketing coordinator, earning around $50,000 a year. We met back in college, dated for 4 years, before I proposed on a beach in California. She said yes without hesitation. Our wedding was small, just close friends and family. Well, what was left of my family anyway. See, my parents died in a car accident 5 years ago. A drunk driver ran a red light and hit them head on. They did not stand a chance. After that, it was just me and Kyle. Kyle is my older brother, 3 years my senior. He was always the confident one, the one who could walk into a room and own it. He worked as a sales manager at a real estate company, dressed sharp in tailored suits, and had this easy charm that made people trust him. He stood about 6 feet tall, had dark hair, he kept perfectly styled, and broad shoulders that made him look like he hit the gym regularly. Growing up, Kyle protected me. When bullies picked on me in middle school, Kyle was there. When I struggled with calculus in high school, Kyle stayed up late helping me study. After our parents died, that bond grew even stronger. We were all each other had left. Blood family, or so I thought. Kyle came over for dinner about 2 or 3 times a week. Amanda seemed to enjoy his company. They would laugh at the same jokes, talk about music and movies. I thought it was great that my wife and my brother got along so well. What kind of idiot was I, right? Our life had rhythm. Every Sunday night, Amanda and I cooked together. She would chop vegetables while I handled the meat. We would drink wine, talk about our week, make plans for the future. Friday nights were movie nights. We would curl up on the couch with a bottle of red wine and whatever film looked interesting on Netflix. Amanda had this habit of leaving little notes in my work bag. Simple things like, "Have a great day, love you," or "You are amazing." Those notes made even the worst work days bearable. We had started talking about kids. Amanda wanted to paint the nursery a soft blue, whether we had a boy or girl. She said blue was calming. We browsed baby furniture online, laughing about how expensive everything was. I felt like the luckiest man alive. Kyle would show up with expensive whiskey, pour us each a glass, and tell stories about his latest real estate deals. He had just closed a huge sale on a downtown condo, made $20,000 in commission. Amanda would cook, and Kyle would compliment her constantly. "Rob, you are one lucky guy," he would say. "This lasagna is incredible." I would smile, agree, pour more whiskey. Just 3 people enjoying each other's company. A perfect little family unit. But then things started to change. Subtle at first, so subtle I almost missed it. It started one night when I woke up around 2 in the morning. The room was dark except for the glow from Amanda's phone screen. I saw Kyle's name flash across the top. A text message. "Are you still awake?" I remember my stomach doing this weird flip. Amanda grabbed her phone, quickly saw me watching. "Oh, Kyle is asking about a birthday gift for his friend," she said, her voice casual. "He knows I am good at picking presents." It made sense, I guess, but something about it felt off. Why would Kyle text her at 2 in the morning? Why not just text me? A couple weeks later, Amanda announced she was joining a gym. Nothing weird about that, except she had always been fine with her twice-a-week routine. Now suddenly, she was going 5 times a week. She said she wanted to get in shape, that we should both be healthy before trying for a baby. That made sense too. But one afternoon, I left work early, stopped by the gym near our house, where she said she worked out. Her car was not there. I called her. She answered on the 4th ring, said she was at Whole Foods picking up groceries, but when she came home an hour later, she had no bags. "Oh, I did not find anything I liked," she explained. I nodded. What else could I do? Then there was the dinner incident. Kyle came over on a Wednesday. Amanda made her famous pot roast. We sat around the table talking and eating. I noticed Kyle touch Amanda's shoulder when he laughed at something she said. Just a casual touch, his hand resting there for maybe 3 seconds. Amanda did not pull away. She laughed harder, her face flushed. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe I was reading too much into it. But I felt this uncomfortable twist in my chest. A few days later, I was doing laundry. I picked up one of Amanda's work blouses and smelled something. Cologne. Men's cologne. Not mine. I used a citrus-based aftershave. This was something woodsy, expensive smelling. When I asked Amanda about it, she shrugged. "Oh, you know how it is at the office. Someone probably hugged me goodbye after a meeting. People are huggers." Reasonable explanation, but that uncomfortable feeling in my chest grew bigger. I started paying attention, really paying attention. Amanda took her phone everywhere now, even to the bathroom. Before she would leave it charging on the kitchen counter or tossed on the couch. Now it was glued to her hand. If I walked into a room while she was texting, she would flip the phone face down or angle it away from me. "Just Sarah from work," she would say. "Girl talk?" But her eyes would not quite meet mine. She bought new underwear, lacy, expensive stuff from that boutique downtown. When I noticed, she smiled and said, "I want to feel confident for you." But she never wore them when we were intimate. In fact, we were barely intimate anymore. She was always tired, always had a headache, always just wanted to sleep. The new lingerie sat in her drawer tags, still on some pieces. Her schedule changed too. She started coming home late. "Gotta work overtime," she would say. "Big project deadline." But one day I called her office around 6 in the evening. Her coworker, Jessica, answered. "Oh, Amanda." She left at 5. Said she had an appointment. When I asked Amanda about it, she looked confused for a second, then said, "Oh, right, I had to pick up dry cleaning. Forgot to mention it." The lies were piling up, small ones, probably meaningless individually. But together, they painted a picture I did not want to see. I could not take it anymore. The not knowing was killing me. So I did something I never thought I would do. I started investigating my own wife. It started with her car. One Saturday morning, Amanda went to get her nails done. I told her I would clean out her car while she was gone, maybe vacuum it, make it nice. She hesitated, which was weird, but then said, "Oh, that is sweet, thank you." As soon as she left, I went through that car like a detective at a crime scene. In the glove compartment underneath the registration papers, I found a receipt. Marriott Hotel, room 512, date 3 weeks ago, a Thursday. I remembered that Thursday. Amanda said she had to work late, did not get home until almost midnight. The receipt showed checkout at 11:30 p.m. The room was a suite, $250 for one night. My hands shook as I held that receipt. There had to be an explanation. There had to be. When Amanda got home, her nails painted a bright red, I showed her. "What is this?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She barely glanced at it. Oh, that. Some co-workers and I threw a goodbye party for Linda. You remember Linda? She moved to Seattle. We got a hotel room so we could drink and not worry about driving home. We split the cost. She smiled at me, touched my arm. Why is something wrong? I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. No, I said. Just curious. But that receipt went into my desk drawer. Evidence. A few nights later, I pretended to go to bed early. Told Amanda I had a headache. I went upstairs, waited 20 minutes, then crept back down. Amanda was on the phone in the living room, her voice low. I stood in the hallway out of sight and listened. I miss you too, she said. Pause. No, he does not suspect anything. Another pause. I cannot wait to see you tomorrow. My heart stopped. Actually stopped. Then it started again, pounding so hard I thought she might hear it. I went back upstairs before she finished the call. I did not sleep that night. Just stared at the ceiling, trying to make sense of what I had heard. The next morning I called Kyle. I needed my brother, needed to talk to someone. He did not answer. I called again at lunch. Nothing. Texted him. No response. 3 days went by before he finally called me back. Sorry, bro, he said. Been swamped with work. His voice sounded weird, strained. Hey, have you seen Amanda lately? I asked, trying to sound casual. There was a pause. Too long of a pause. Yeah, actually. Ran into her at a coffee shop last week. She was grabbing a latte. Amanda had not mentioned seeing Kyle. Why would she not mention that I felt like I was losing my mind? Every smile from Amanda felt like a lie. Every I love you felt hollow. I needed proof. Real, undeniable proof. So I did something I never thought I would do. I hired a private investigator. His name was Frank. 50 years old retired police detective, came highly recommended online. We met at a diner on the east side of town. He had gray hair, a weathered face, and eyes that had seen too much. I showed him pictures of Amanda, and Kyle gave him their schedules, paid him $3,000 up front. 2 weeks, I said. I need to know what is going on. Frank nodded. I will get you answers. But are you sure you want them? I thought about that question. Did I want to know? Could I live with not knowing? Yes, I said. I need to know. Those 2 weeks were torture. I went to work, came home, ate dinner with Amanda, watched TV, went to bed, all while knowing someone was following her, documenting her movements. Amanda seemed happier than usual, actually. She hummed while she cooked, smiled more. I wondered if she was happy because she thought she was getting away with it. Kyle came over for dinner one night during those 2 weeks. I watched him carefully. Watched how he looked at Amanda, how she looked at him. They seemed normal on the surface, just a brother-in-law and a sister-in-law getting along. But there was a moment, just one moment, when I went to the kitchen to grab more beer. When I came back, I caught them exchanging a look. It lasted maybe 2 seconds, but in those 2 seconds, I saw everything. Intimacy, familiarity, guilt. They knew each other in a way that went far beyond casual friendship. After Kyle left, I asked Amanda, "Is there anything you want to tell me?" She looked up from loading the dishwasher. About what? About anything, I said. About us? About your life? Anything at all. She walked over, kissed my cheek. No, baby. Everything is perfect. Why do you ask? I forced a smile. No reason, just checking in. She went back to the dishes and I went upstairs feeling sick. 2 weeks later, Frank called. I have what you need. Meet me at the diner on 5th Street. I drove there in a daze. The whole way I kept thinking maybe I was wrong. Maybe there was an innocent explanation. Maybe Frank would tell me I was paranoid. But deep down, I knew better. Frank was waiting in a corner booth. He had a thick manila envelope in front of him. As I sat down, he pushed it across the table. "I am sorry, man," he said. "This is not going to be easy." My hands trembled as I opened the envelope. Photographs spilled out. The first one showed Amanda and Kyle standing in front of a hotel. Not just standing, kissing, her hands in his hair, his hands on her waist. The timestamp on the bottom: 3 days ago, 2:15 p.m. The day Amanda told me she had a client meeting. There were more photos. Them holding hands walking through a park. Them sitting in Kyle's car, her head on his shoulder. Them going into hotels, coming out hours later. Frank had documented everything. "They have been meeting 3 times a week for the past 2 months, Frank said. Always different hotels, always during the day. They are careful, but not careful enough." He slid a USB drive across the table. "Videos are on here? Same stuff, just with motion." I stared at the photos, unable to speak. There was one photo that broke me completely. Amanda wearing the red dress I had bought her for her birthday, the one she wore to dinner when I took her to that fancy steakhouse downtown. She said it was her favorite, and there she was, wearing it for him. "You okay?" Frank asked. I was not okay. I would never be okay again. But I nodded. "Can you keep following them? I need more information." Frank raised an eyebrow. "You have enough here for any divorce lawyer in the state? Why do you need more?" "I just do," I said. "Please." He nodded. "Your money, your choice. I will keep on it." Wast. I paid Frank another $2,000 and went home. Amanda was in the kitchen making dinner, spaghetti and meatballs. She smiled when she saw me. "Hey, honey, how was your day?" I wanted to scream, wanted to throw the photos at her, wanted to demand answers, but I did not. Instead, I smiled back. "Fine. Yours?" "Oh, you know, same old, same old." She stirred the sauce, humming, like nothing was wrong, like she had not just destroyed our entire marriage. A week later, I came home early from work. I felt sick, had left the office around noon. When I walked into the house, I heard Amanda in the bathroom, heard her crying. I went upstairs, found her sitting on the bathroom floor holding something. A pregnancy test. 2 bright pink lines. "Amanda?" She looked up startled, tried to hide the test, but I had already seen it. "You are pregnant." It was not a question. She nodded, wiping her eyes. "I was going to tell you. I just found out this morning." I did the math in my head. We had not been intimate in over 2 months. She said she was too tired, too stressed. Every time I tried, she pushed me away. But somehow she was 6 weeks pregnant. "Is it mine?" The words came out before I could stop them. Amanda's face went pale, then red. "How can you even ask that? Of course it is yours. How dare you?" She stood up shaking, but I saw it. That flicker of panic in her eyes, that moment of hesitation before she answered. "I am sorry," I said, backing down. "I am just surprised. Stressed from work. I did not mean it." She softened, came over and hugged me. "It is okay. This is big news. We are going to be parents." I let her hug me, feeling absolutely nothing. That child was not mine. I knew it in my bones. The next day I met with a divorce attorney. Her name was Grace Thompson. Mid-40s, sharp as a tack, with a reputation for winning. I showed her everything. The photos, the videos, the hotel receipts. She looked through it, all, her expression neutral. "This is pretty clear-cut adultery," she said. "In Texas, that matters. You will get a favorable settlement." "The house is in my name only," I said. "We have a joint bank account with about $15,000 in it." "Withdraw your half now," Grace advised. "Today, before you file. It is not illegal, it is just smart." I did exactly that. Went to the bank, withdrew $7,500, opened a new account at a different bank. Left Amanda $500 in the joint account. Enough to not look suspicious, but not enough to matter. Over the next week, I quietly moved all my important documents: birth certificate, social security card, passport, everything. I contacted a moving company, arranged to have Amanda's belongings packed and placed in a storage unit. Paid for 3 months up front. I changed the locks. I was ready. Then I invited Kyle over for dinner. "Hey man," I said on the phone. "Been too long? Come over Saturday night. Amanda is making lasagna." Kyle hesitated. "I do not know, been busy." "Come on," I pushed. "We are family. I miss hanging out." He finally agreed. I could hear the guilt in his voice. Good. Saturday night arrived. Amanda cooked completely oblivious. She made lasagna, garlic bread, a salad. Opened a bottle of wine. Kyle showed up at 7 looking nervous. He kept glancing at Amanda, who smiled at him warmly. We ate, made small talk. Kyle told a story about a difficult client. Amanda laughed at all the right moments. I sat there watching them, feeling absolutely nothing. I was beyond anger, beyond hurt. I was just empty. After dinner, I stood up. "I want to show you guys something," I said. I connected my laptop to the TV. Both Amanda and Kyle looked curious. Maybe a vacation slideshow, they probably thought. Instead, I opened the folder Frank had sent me. Started playing the first video. It showed